Welcome to Town Square. It's a project where we ask you, our viewers, to drive the discussion on important topics. Now, after the last few weeks, we've asked you to share your thoughts on the topic of bullying. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, so we thought it would be fitting to get your input on it. We put together a survey. Here are some of the results. Of the 247 respondents, a full 91% say they have a child, friend, or relative who has been bullied. 83% said they were bullied themselves. 85% said the bullying happened on school property. We began with one family who decided to come forward with their story. KOMU 8's Leanne Danier joins us with the story of a Jefferson City 7-year-old.
Parents put their faith in educators every day to not only teach their children to read and solve math problems, but to keep them safe.
I don't think it's safe when my daughter gets assaulted 3 times in the same day and blood's drawn, bruises, scratch marks are left. I don't define that as safe.
Hundreds of Mid-Missourians joined our conversation about bullying. They shared stories of teasing in hallways, nervous walks home from school. One student shared she contemplated suicide after the teasing became unbearable. Kent and Alicia Dunwoody live in Jefferson City. Their 7-year-old daughter, whose image we're keeping private, is a 2nd grader at Thorpe Gordon Elementary School.
She's fun-loving. She's very giving. She seems like, the kind of person that would do anything for anybody, and she's, she's a hugger. She loves, she loves people.
But just a week into the start of this school year, she told her parents about the name calling.
Like stupid, she's been called fat before.
But an incident on September 9th during a PE class sent them over the edge.
Well, she told me that 3 kids had hit her, kicked her, scratched her, punched her. So I pulled over in the parking lot immediately. I checked her out over the truck, and you could see the scratch marks, the bruises. Her boot was broke. Her thumb was bleeding, like where they almost ripped her thumbnail off.
Dunwoody immediately took his daughter to the principal. He says the principal changed her class and has done his due diligence to deal with matters as they arise.
She loves learning. They do a great job. Somewhere along the lines throughout that system, something has broke or has not been enforced.
Jefferson City Public Schools would not go on camera for this story, but released this statement. Unfortunately, state and federal regulations prohibit us as a district from commenting on individual situations dealing with student behavior. That said, the Jefferson City Public Schools take very seriously every incident reported to us, whether it is a case of bullying or students simply not getting along. Our staff works to find a resolution that is in the best interest of every student involved. Missouri state law requires 2 things. First, that all students and parents receive a written policy of discipline, and that all staff must report any instance of violence they see at school. KOMU 8 News spent hours interviewing multiple families who ultimately decided they were not comfortable being on camera. Many said coming forward was too great a risk for their child. Many of those parents said bullying policies, definitions, and reporting requirements are too vague in mid-Missouri. The Dunwoodys say they spoke out because a larger issue is at play.
We want it fixed. Not just for our child, but every other child out there is getting bullied, picked on, so it doesn't lead to further issues down the road.
Bullying experts say keeping kids safe starts with listening and being persistent about reporting bullying. I spoke with about a dozen families over the last few weeks. My biggest takeaway from those conversations was the frustration in understanding both what qualifies as bullying and how schools move forward when a staff member doesn't see what happened.
Earlier this week, I got to speak with Dr. Robert Klein of Pediatric and Adolescent Psychology Services. I asked him about the signs that a kid is, in fact, being bullied.
Number one, the classic symptoms are a big change in behavior. You had a child who wasn't nervous, that doesn't want to ride the bus. Have a child that was going to school fine, and there's some resistance. Again, that could be because a child has a stomach ache and they don't want to go to school. But what you start to notice as a parent is there's symptoms that are occurring frequently, and it's a change in behavior.
And we did a longer interview with Dr. Klein. You can catch the entire interview online at KOMU.com. We took the issue of bullying to social media, and our Facebook lit up with comments. One survey respondent said parents, educators, society as a whole needs to let kids be kids until it is an issue. But another respondent said, it's not horseplay or just kidding around. I hear that a lot. Dr. Shannon Holden, an adjunct professor at Missouri State University, says it may be a little of both.
There are some students out there who truly do not know common courtesy. And so we put that into a basket called bullying when it's really not bullying.
We want to thank everyone who's taken part so far in our Town Square, specifically focusing on bullying. You can still weigh in on our Facebook page. It's never too late, and read our story on KOMU.com.